So you've likely used generative AI tools like ChatGPT, Claude, and Bard. But what's going on out there in the world of business? Are companies using generative AI? And if so, how much? This week, we found out thanks to this McKinsey report. And by the way, the short story is yes, companies are using generative AI. How much? Probably more than you'd think. Given the fast pace in AI and the rapid adoption, what should you be doing in your job and your company to make sure that you're not left behind? Alrighty, so the AI revolution, what's going on according to this report by McKinsey? Now, this report came out this week, but it's important to remember that the data from this report was actually collected in mid-April when ChatGPT, etc. were only 6 months old. So all of the trends and all of the numbers that we're going to see in here are likely going to be even more exaggerated now. Some quick stats. 1/3 of survey respondents saying that their organizations are using generative AI regularly, nearly a quarter of the C-suite saying they're using generative AI for work, and 40% saying that their organizations will increase their investment in AI. Now, the report breaks the usage data down by multiple factors, including age. So here we can see the number of people that regularly use AI inside and outside of work in the blue and dark blue columns. We can see the number of people who regularly use it outside of work and the number of people who tried it once. Unsurprisingly, the younger you are, the more likely you are to use generative AI. And already 24% of people in work are regularly using AI for work and outside of work, with only 21% of people never having used it or they don't know whether they've used it. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the use of generative AI is most prevalent in marketing and sales, with 14% saying they regularly use it, with some of the most common use cases being things like creating first drafts, identifying trends in data, and using chatbots for customer service. But here's the killer stat. 3/4 of all respondents expect generative AI to cause significant or disruptive change in the nature of their industry's competition in the next 3 years. So however much they're using it today, these people are expecting it's going to impact their industry more over time. As you know, there's so much that generative AI can do to help in marketing and sales and across other areas of business. Let's take a look at some examples. In Google's 2023 Q2 earnings call, they gave the example of supermarket chain Carrefour, who are creating full marketing campaigns in a matter of minutes using Google's generative AI tools. This likely means it's creating localized marketing assets like images that can be used across campaigns, or it's being used to structure things like ad campaigns inside Google Ads. We also saw in last week's video how generative AI can be a fantastic time saver and productivity tool when you're writing content. For example, let's say that I want to write a blog post on a topic I know particularly well, SEO. What I might do is open a PDF of my book here. I might just highlight all of the text, copy it, I might paste it straight into Claude, and then say, help me write a 2,000-word blog post about how to get to the top of Google for an accountancy firm. Use the author's tone of voice, specific words and phrases, and share examples from the text where you can. And voila, Claude will produce me a blog post which uses some of my phrasing, some of my tone of voice, and the tips that I've included in my book, and this looks pretty good. Now, of course, this isn't perfect. It's going to need to be edited and fact-checked because it's still using a large language model, and I had to produce the original copy that it's working from. But you can see how this sort of technology can save marketing teams a lot of time in some of the most time-intensive areas of digital marketing. But generative AI can also be really helpful at crunching and analyzing data. What I've done here is I've just uploaded a CSV file of some Google Analytics 4 statistics and asked ChatGPT using Code Interpreter to give me some insight around this data. And what you can see is it's identified the data here, it's actually cleaned some of the data as well. It's then made some assumptions, crunched the data, analyzed it exactly how I asked, given me some statistics by page type, and then finally made some recommendations. Is it perfect? Nope. Is it as good as having a professional analytics expert analyze your data? Nope. But it's virtually free and took about a minute, so it's a pretty good start. Now, the most common way of using generative AI, according to the McKinsey report, is creating first drafts of text documents. And this is one of the strengths of generative AI that we use at our sister agency, Exposure Ninja. For example, let's say that I'm producing a TikTok for a fictional vegan supplement brand. I can have a conversation with ChatGPT to start working out what my angle could be and help me start planning out my TikTok. Now, quick tip here, it helps to work collaboratively with large language model tools like ChatGPT. For example, here I'm asking it what are some great grabbers to stop the scroll on TikTok. I then ask it to suggest some ideas for my TikTok. I tell it that I like ideas 2 and 4. Can you combine them and use one of the grabbers mentioned above? And voila, it comes out with a plan for my TikTok. And again, it's not perfect, and yes, it needs work, but it means I don't have to start from a blank page, and that saves me so much time. And speaking of time saving, there are tools like Lavender AI, which help your sales team to craft more compelling emails. Now, if you've got a sales team, you'll know that what you really don't want is them spending all of their time doing emails. So this type of tool can be really useful at removing some of the drudgery from their work, which means they can get into the higher value tasks. All right, so how important actually is this stuff? Because yeah, great, there's loads of tools out there, but do you actually need to use them? Well, I think it's important to remember here that marketing is often a zero-sum game. If you want to take market share, if you want to increase your market share, usually you're taking that from someone else. Or if you want to increase your ranking on Google, usually you're taking that ranking from someone else. Of course, if you're competing against competitors or competitors' agencies that are using some of these tools to improve their efficiency, improve the amount that they're producing, then it might be very difficult for you to compete over the longer term. This article in The Drum predicts that CMOs have 5 years to adapt. And they quote marketers from Microsoft saying we can do something in weeks rather than months, and EY saying generative AI has enabled them to do things that used to take 3 weeks in 2 minutes. Now, at a time when marketing budgets are facing tighter budgets, they're needing to produce more with less and work across more ad channels, and of course they've got the pace of AI change, how are they supposed to keep up? And of course, at a time when businesses are facing budget cuts, marketers are required to produce more with less and cover more ad and marketing channels than ever before. And of course, we're all faced with rapid changes in AI and what seems like new tools every week. How on earth are you supposed to keep up? Well, we'll come back to that in just a minute. But firstly, some of the reasons that businesses don't fully embrace generative AI or might be a little bit scared, see how many of these you recognize, are that they are worried that AI is going to replace their employees. Or if you're an employee, you're worried about taking it to your boss in case it's you who gets replaced. I think this is a really common misconception. In fact, if you look at most of the tools that we have access to at the moment, they're not anywhere near the stage where they can replace employees. What they are doing is taking some of the drudgery and some of the more menial tasks from people's jobs to enable them to focus more on the higher value tasks. Things like crunching through loads of data to produce insights, or summarizing and rewriting documents. These probably aren't the sort of tasks that you run to work excited to start each day anyway. Another misconception is that these AI tools are too complicated or require loads of training to get embedded in your business. And whilst yes, there are improvements that can be gained from really getting to grips with these things and having someone who understands them deeply train you to get the absolute most out of them, a lot of them are really easy to start with and quite intuitive. One of the biggest and most valid concerns about generative AI and large language models is data privacy and security. But we're starting to see solutions like Bing Chat Enterprise from Microsoft, where your data is kept inside your organization and doesn't get fed back to train the large language model. And this is part of a more common trend where AI developers and companies are prioritizing privacy and security, knowing that this is a big concern for enterprise. And then, of course, you have the skeptics that say, yeah, but AI doesn't really produce truly creative work. Well, yes and no. I think this is all about how you drive it. We've noticed with the content teams here at Exposure Ninja, some of the most creative writers are able to get the most creative output out of these tools because they collaborate and work with them. One of the strengths of generative AI tools, and in particular GPT-4, is its ability to spot and match patterns. For example, if you ask it what makes a successful kids' TV show, it will tell you. If you then ask it to use these principles to suggest the outline for a corporate video on warehouse safety, not the most thrilling topic in the world, it will then do it. Now, as a starting point to come up with a more engaging and creative concept for a video on warehouse safety, this isn't bad. And it took 20 seconds. So I don't think the question is really, can you afford to build generative AI into your business? I actually think the question is, can you afford not to? Going back to this McKinsey report, they describe a group that they call the AI high performers that are already outpacing others in their adoption of generative AI tools. What is an AI high performer, I hear you ask? Well, it's those that attribute at least 20% of their EBIT to AI adoption. That is a decent chunk of EBIT, given that most of this technology has been out less than a year, and at the time of this survey had been out less than 6 months. It's clear from this study and elsewhere that AI usage is only going in one direction. Let's also remember that the tools we have at our disposal are largely still in beta stage, some are even unreleased, and all are fairly rudimentary. With Google Gemini and GPT-5 coming later on, we expect the pace of change to continue accelerating and the capabilities of these tools to continue growing. So don't wait until you are forced by competitors or the market to play along. Right now, you're not too early, you're not too late. This is the perfect time to get started integrating generative AI into your business. So what can you do and how can Powered by AI help? Well, firstly, if you go to our website, you can sign up for the Powered by AI newsletter. This will keep you up to date with the latest goings on in the world of AI for business. While you're there, you can also take the How Screwed Are You test to find out how vulnerable your business might be to disruption from AI, but also what sort of opportunities might be available to you thanks to generative AI to grow and increase your market share. You can also request an AI consultancy from Powered by AI. We will carry out an audit of your business to identify where the key opportunities are for you to increase your productivity and efficiency whilst reducing costs using generative AI. And of course, you're already a subscriber to the PBAI YouTube channel, right? So let us know in the comments, how much has your business embraced generative AI and what are your plans for the rest of this year? Until next time, see you soon.